it can be developed by anybody, without getting enlightened, or some people are born with it, or some beings are born with these abilities. Then after they pass away, all gone. Yeah, then they rebirth, all start from nothing. So this is the five higher knowledges. So one of them, the first one is this ability to recollect past lives. So this is considered worldly higher knowledge. And the next one is divine eye, some people are interested, see those heavenly beings, see ghosts and that kind of stuff. And the third ability is divine ear, right? Then the fourth is the mind reading, they call it telepathy, able to read people's minds. And the fifth one is this telekinesis, like things like flying, walking through walls, and those kind of stuff. So these are, we call it, supernatural higher knowledges. So these are considered worldly. Then the sixth kind is the knowledge to end the defilement, to reach enlightenment. So this is the highest one.
Yeah, it's a pramandin ability.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in the divine eye, seeing past life, reading mind. But I think it will be useful. There is some practical use for it. So when you want to do something good for humanity, that is.
Because normally with this kind of thing, there are these ethical code of conducts. Maybe it's not so known for layperson, but for monastics, there's several precepts or rules not to even disclose, to anybody. So this is can be quite dangerous, out there. The Buddha mentioned there's this thing called the different kinds of miracles, right? So the Buddha preferred miracle of instruction, able to guide people to a heightened state of mind and not to have these abilities or even display them. So this is the kind of miracles will get one person into trouble, if a person, let's say, displays certain sort of miracles, right? Then the skeptics will say, oh, maybe this is magic, magic show, or the sleight of hand, or black magic, dark arts, spiritism, and that kind of stuff. So it kind of devalue the practice, they value the Dhamma as well. So these are the sort of dangers. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. Okay, I keep on trying. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 8:30. I don't think we have time to go through with everyone. So maybe next time. Yeah. All right. So we let Terence do the intro.
Thank you, Bhante. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to MSBS Dhamma Sharing Online. This event is jointly organized by Mahasatipatthana Buddhist Society Klang and Mudita Buddhist Society Klang. Today is already 6 September 2020, and time now is 8:30. Few housekeeping rules before we start. Please display your name for easy identification. Make sure your audio is muted at all times. If you wish to ask a question, you may type your question in the chat box. Or you ask verbally, you may raise hand, unmute and talk. Please turn off your microphone after finish asking. One person to speak at a time. During guided meditation, please on your video so Bhante can see your progress. Meeting room will be locked during guided meditation. MSBS is very fortunate to have with us Bhante Adhibalo, known as Phra Goh. Bhante had his Bhikkhu ordination in the Theravada tradition of Thai Dhamma sect, Santi Forest Monastery in Johor, Malaysia, in 2008. Bhante is currently the Vice President of Palelai Buddhist Society, Singapore. Today we have a very interesting talk. It's on KAMMA. Bhante will be leading the homage to the Buddha and taking out the 5 precepts. Let us compose our minds, put our palms together, and welcome Bhante.
Okay, thank you, Terence, for the introduction. So we start off with the homage. I see you did some change in the background. All right, so yeah, so Buddhist friends, we can start. Yeah. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 3 refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. 5 precepts. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to the new topic on Kamma. Right, so in the West, they prefer to use the Romanized Sanskrit version, spelled as karma, right? K-A-R-M-A. Right, so this is the more popular spelling. Sometimes it's even in the dictionary, I think. Yeah, karma. And for our Theravada tradition, we are actually using the Pali, Romanized Pali version. So it's spelled as K-A-M-M-A, Kamma, right? So we have to make sure we pronounce and spell correctly, because if you miss one A or miss one N, then it's a whole different thing altogether, right? Becomes it's a rated R-rated stuff. Then you might get more views, right? Kama Sutra. Okay, so we are going to move on with the first slide, right? So there are various definitions. I've given one, the wrong spelling one. So this is the correct spelling, right? So double M. So the first type, or rather not definition, type. First kind of karma is actually a kind of contemplation, or the standard definition is that you reap what you sow, right? Beings are owners of their karma, heir to their karma, born of their karma, related through their karma, and have karma as their arbitrator. So this is normally used as a meditation reflection if a person wants to develop equanimity, upekkha, one of the sublime states. We've talked about it in some of the previous sessions on how to develop these 4 Brahma Viharas. So this is the reflection used to develop upekkha, this equanimity. So we'll be using it for the meditation later, but we'll be thinking, what is karma? Right? What is this karma about? Right? So when we sit there and think everything is not up to karma, and then we do not know what it is exactly. So I'm going through the various types of karma, mostly based on the suttas. There are more technical, we call variations of karma based on the Abhidhamma. There are more, like 52 kinds of consciousness based on the karma. But I don't think we'll go through that. We just go through comprehensively the essentials. Okay, so there are three broad categories. First, you have the dark karma, the bad deeds we do, right? We think, speak, or act through our bodies, bad things. So these are considered the bad karma or the dark karma. And we have the bright kind of karma or the good karmas. So these are the good things we do through our body, speech, and mind, or there's kind of both mixture or neutral. So these are for mundane kinds of karma. And then we have another one, supra-mundane kinds of karma, neither dark nor bright karma with neither dark nor bright ripening that leads to the exhaustion of karma. So if we were to talk about cultivation and nibbana, reaching enlightenment, we are actually talking about this kind of karma. So basically, whatever we do is creating karma. Right? Even meditation, we are creating karma. It's just about what kind of karma are we creating? There are these, the mundane ones or the spiritual ones, or we call the supra-mundane ones. So all the while in our meditation sitting, we are actually aiming, right? Aiming for the supra-mundane ones. Mundane ones I will go through as well. So the next slide. Okay, so these are the mundane kinds of karma. So you'll be thinking, oh, what has it got to do with meditation? What has it got to do with meditation? It's there's some relation. I will go through it later. So normally in Theravada Buddhism, we refer to two scriptures on karma. One is this the shorter discourse on karma, right? Shorter analysis on this karma, and there's a greater discourse on karma. So there are two of the suttas. Right, so this is the first one on the shorter discourse, mainly talking about mundane kinds of karma. So we're going through that. Okay, next. Okay, so some people, why are they rich? Why some people are poor? Why some people are healthy, not healthy, long life, short life, etc. So all these are may seem metaphysical or may not be so related to meditation. But we're going to go through them one by one, the different points. Okay, first we talk about short or long life. Right, it's important to sort of have a good long life so that we can have enough time to practice. Or if let's say we are born and maybe stillborn, we don't even have a chance to practice, get to know about religion or spirituality, and it's a waste of the human life. So according to Buddhist understanding on rebirth, right, having a human birth is very, very precious, very, very precious, right? It is said that there's example. Imagine there's like a legendary, mystical turtle that lives under the ocean. Every 100 years, you just swim up and take a breather and then go right down underneath the ocean again to live for another 100 years, right? So this is the analogy given by the Buddha. So imagine there's a yoke, something like a round hoop, hula hoop, right? Round hula hoop floating around the ocean, on the surface of the ocean, following the currents, drifting around. And imagine this turtle, by chance, every 100 years when he just swim up to take a breather on the surface and his head accidentally pop right through the middle of this ring, of this hoop, right? So what are the chances, right? So the chances is so slim. So it is said that being a human being, becoming a human being is that slim. That's the I do not know what's the proportion, and there are so many other beings in the universe. No, there are so many chances we can be reborn as an ant or whatever it is, or some insect, as a hungry ghost and in the hell, or whatever it is. So the chance of being reborn as a human is so slim, right? So this is talking about lengthening your life, so to be make use of this human rebirth, right? So of course, this may not happen this lifetime. It may accumulate the next lifetime. Okay, but again, these are, you may classify it as conjecture, kind of metaphysical conjecture. If you sort of don't harm anybody, you don't kill anybody, then you will have a long life. So some people say, hey, I'm innocent this life, but then still have a lot of diseases or die early, right? Then we put the blame, it's a past life, right? So if we put aside this kind of theoretical, metaphysical understanding, what is the practical implication of this? Right, the purpose of not killing. Earlier on, we chant the precepts: avoid or abstain taking life. Right. So the practical application or the reason of this practice of not taking life is to promote non-hatred. To promote non-hatred. Why do we want to kill in the first place? Right. It's because, right, we have aversion, right, towards the other being. We want to get rid of them. Get rid of them. It can be human, can be animals, insect, whatever it is. No, we have certain form of aversion or greed. If let's say you want to sort of kill for food, right? So there's certain greed or hatred towards killing of these sentient beings. So by abstaining from killing, we're actually training ourselves to reduce this intention. So it's considered karma as well, mental kind of intention. So when we reduce this greed or hatred, so we are in a way purifying, training ourselves to purify the mind. Right? So this is the meditation kind of perspective to it. Okay, next. Okay, so similar, if a person doesn't kill, right? So if let's say they just harm another person, physically harm, right? So it will lead one to sickness, right? So if a person were to beat up another person, may happen this life, next life, future lives, whatever, right? And they will be unhealthy, subject to sickness, right? So this is, so if a person wants to be healthy or live a long life, right, do not harm another being. So this is the moral of the story. Okay, next. Okay, similarly, beauty, right? So if a person wants to look beautiful, right, then don't get angry, right? Don't get angry. So we covered in these 4 sublime states, the 11 benefits of loving kindness. One of them is it will improve one's beauty, right? So this is one of the benefits. So if a person were to practice loving kindness and it reduces the anger, then one will get more beautiful, right? You can save money from beauty products. You don't have to waste so much time on trying to beautify yourself. All you need is inner beauty. Inner beauty. So of course, you still need to put in time and effort to reprogram your mind, reprogram your thinking. It's a habit, right? Emotional habit. Okay, so next one. And next one is this influence, right? Influence. A person wants to be influential. If you, let's say, run an organization, you have many workers under you, many followers, right? So how to be influential? Not, right? If a person is not envious, not jealous, right? So again, this is the practice of mudita. Practice of mudita. We talk about the 4 sublime states, practicing appreciative joy. If somebody is successful, then you rejoice in their success. Rejoice in their success. So what happens if a person rejoices in another person's success? Mentally, they're actually they want to emulate the successful person. Right? This is they achieve it and they want to find out what are the pointers to make them successful. But if a person is jealous and envious, what they only think about is trying to bring them down, bring the successful person down. So they won't be focusing on how to improve yourself, how to grow and that kind of stuff. So if a person rejoices, right, there's a two-way kind of benefit. First, you're training your mind to have this sublime state, reach certain concentrations even, or even liberation. So this is mudita. And secondly, you're emulating the good pointers or the best practices of the other. So this is called practicing appreciative joy. Okay, the next one. Okay, next one, this is wealth. Okay, this is going to sound a bit like prosperity gospel. So we are actually, in fact, most religions, they'll talk about being charitable, being generous, give, help others, right? So the reward will be, at least for Buddhism, in the next life, you will be more wealthy, or even some people are lucky in this lifetime, you get wealthier, right? So this is the mundane kind of wealth, right? So of course, we do not know the time frame. Can be next life, can be many lives later. Then the investment will have its rewards, right? So of course, there are in this particular scripture, in the Sigala Sutta and also the Digha Jana Sutta, right? The Buddha actually taught about financial management. So this is the actual, we call it more practical approach to sort of making wealth, physical kind of wealth. The Buddha talk about how much to save, how much to invest, how much to spend on yourself. So these are the kinds of advice that Buddha even taught, right? So if you want to talk about taking chances and taking luck, then some people want to totally rely on this. And of course, if a person want to practice generosity or charity for the sake of being wealthy, then too bad. That's not for you. The purpose of practicing wealth, the direct benefit is about being content, reducing selfishness. So when a person becomes less and less selfish, then they become more and more contented. So this is the inner kind of wealth, right? So if a person, let's say, is very, very, very greedy, forever unsatisfied, no matter how many millions or billions or trillions they have in their bank account, how many zeros they have, they want something more. It's not enough for them. Right? Not enough for them. So this is the inner kind of something like a black hole in the mind, in the heart. It sucks everything. It's not enough. Never enough. So this is the issue of the inner. It's more of a psychological kind of perspective. So if a person practices generosity in the right way with the right intention, they give out of compassion, they want to help with the right intention, then the mind becomes less and less greedy, less and less selfish, and this will translate into inner wealth. So now I become a success coach, wealth guru. Teach you how to be wealthy. Yeah. So happen again, like we mentioned before the start of the session, this month is the Katina month. The Theravada monks, at least for the Thai tradition, we finished the 3 month of rains retreat. So normally in the Buddhist tradition, it is said that after the rains retreat, the monks, are supposed to have meditated and whatever not. Then the devotee that donate robes or whatever requisites to the monastics after the retreat will be the most meritorious, very, very, very meritorious. So a lot of people will rush towards the monasteries to make a donation, to do charity and whatever. and they forget. They forget, or sometimes misinterpreted. Some teachings they get misinterpreted to the extent to say that only donating to Buddhist monks will generate lots of merit. You donate to anybody else is no merit or less merit. Very it's a waste. No, so this becomes misinterpretation of the Buddha's teaching. So quite recently, probably a few days ago, I written a kind of a monthly kind of reflection for this Buddhist Youth Network. So this group requested me to write this monthly kind of reflections. So in this pandemic, this COVID, this scenario where people are suffering from job losses and have this poverty, right? So regardless of whatever religion they are, if they are in need of help, please help them. You want to practice true generosity, true charity, please help those in need. Some monasteries are already so luxurious. They have stocks and piles of items, and people still rush and dump items and want to give items. It's overloaded. So please look around, look after your immediate community, right? Those who are in need, who are in poverty, please give them the priority first. Right. So this is the true practicing of generosity. Right. Okay. So, right. So we're going to the next one. Okay. Next is status. Right. So in life or in society, there won't be true 100% required equality. There won't be 100% equality. Some people are born in probably good social class, social status, and they just need to pull a few strings, make a few contacts, and they get what they want, right? They don't need to work for it. So that's life. So so if a person wants to have a good birth, not just about human, you want to talk about even heavenly realms, then we talk about being respectful, veneration. So if a person is not arrogant, then their state of mind is how do you call it? Open. They're open. They're not discriminating. Right? A person is low because sometimes they sort of discriminate. So when they discriminate, they are closed off their options to mixing around with certain groups of people, which probably might be a good opportunity for them to network. Right? So if a person doesn't sort of discriminate, doesn't become arrogant, you're open to ideas, right? Then it's a way to improve. So similarly for spiritual practice, there are so many kinds of meditation practices out there, so many styles of meditation. So if a person is, let's say, arrogant, my method is the best, then you sort of ignore everyone else, then you're just stuck in your world. You're stuck in your world, right? So if let's say you have certain flaws, you won't acknowledge it because you think you're the best. And again, so like most of my classes, I will always acknowledge there are 84,000 Dhamma doors. So many methods that can reach the path to enlightenment. But of course, since I'm promoting my own style, I will of course mention the benefits of my method, right? So I'll leave the other styles to mention their own benefits, but I won't sort of say that, oh, that's totally wrong, right? So this is again, with regards to spiritual practice. Spiritual practice. Okay, so the next one. Then this is wisdom, right? So if a person wants to develop wisdom, they have to ask questions. Ask questions, right? So if a person, after a talk, after a sermon, they don't want to ask questions, then they won't develop wisdom. So why is that so? Because if a person, before they generate a question, they need to think. They need to think through, what kind of question to ask. Not to ask any question for fun, You have to ask a question that is beneficial for oneself and others. Must be a genuine kind of inquiry, You have to be, it's a genuine question, must be sincere, right? So there are several factors. It's not just asking for fun. It's not like I come for this talk, Imagine, let's say, a subject expert. so maybe for this case, maybe Buddhism or meditation, then somebody asks a question, what is the circumference of the sun? What is the diameter of the earth? No, it's totally not related to the talk or to the subject, right? But you do ask a question, right? So if it's asking for the sake of asking, then it doesn't reap much benefit. So again, to ask a beneficial question, it requires the questioner to think, actually. So it's developing wisdom. So this is creating karma for wisdom. So same in any other lecture, in your school or whatever it is, whatever subject you want to improve in that subject, you need to ask a question, right? You need to ask, so it clears your doubt and it makes you progress. So some people don't dare to ask questions and they have doubt, They have doubt and they don't dare to ask questions. So they'll forever be stuck. The doubt will be there in their mind and it doesn't clear up. So when they practice again, they still have a doubt whether it's correct. So it's a kind of hindrance, right? In Buddhism, we talk about the 5 hindrances, right? So one of the hindrance is doubt. So the one of the immediate or the short-term solution to this doubt, overcoming doubt, is to again ask a question. So if a teacher can solve this problem, then very good. You can clear the immediate kind of doubt. But if let's say you're very lucky, question is your conditions are right, and maybe the teacher is super duper good, and you answer a question and you become a stream enterer, then why not? Yeah. So or even higher stages of sainthood. Okay, so this is the part pertaining wisdom. All right, so we're going to move on. Okay, so the next portion is going to be a bit more technical. So I will leave it for the next session because it's going to be 9 o'clock, right? 9 o'clock. So we've covered the circular part, at least for the type of circular, mundane, and even the spiritual aspects of karma. So any questions, right? For those who want to develop wisdom, it's your chance. Next week, we are going to talk about some of the technicalities on karma.
So Bante,
yes.
let's say that Arahant, right?
Yeah.
So the period that they die, is it due to their karma also, or they can die anytime? For Arahant.
According to the Buddhist understanding of karma, they have to exhaust their past karmas. Some of their past karmas, not all. Right. So interestingly, we are going to cover it next week's session. There are some karmas that, if let's say a person reach enlightenment, become an Arahant, there are some karmas are being unused. They don't use up all the karmas. So it depends on the condition. Can be the karmas created this lifetime get ripened, or some of which of the past life gets ripened, and so on. Yeah.
But what does it mean that you don't for Arahant they don't generate new karma?
Okay, so again, we are going to cover in the next few sessions. There are karmas which are, if you want to put it in perspective of the 4 noble truths, right? Like the first noble truth is suffering, right? Whatever we experience, this is called past karmas. Birth, aging, sickness, and death, meeting with people we don't like, and all those kind of stuff. That means all the experiences of life we experience is ripening of past karmas. And when we react, when we create a kind of reaction, that is creating new karma. So that is desire. So greed and hatred, so that's a kind of reaction that is creating new karmas. Right? So if a person is enlightened, they don't create new karmas because they overcome this greed and hatred. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Oh, yes, Singwi, yes.
Morning, Bante. Well, I just have a not so much a question, but perhaps a sharing of my personal experience about Kamma. I think as Buddhists, right, because we're so ingrained with this thought of cause and effect, and at times, well, at least in my personal experience, is that sometimes we very easy for us to jump to the conclusion and say we look at some bad conclusion or people that have encountered, we will say, oh my God, that guy have made some bad karma and that's what happened now. But I also recall that actually karma is a very complicated condition and that oftentimes we might potentially make a wrong or draw a wrong conclusion, and that actually bounce back and hit us personally, meaning that because we may the perspective that we have, um, can lead us to a wrong path, meaning that we may either raise or anger or um, discrimination, and that actually may not be the good thing for personal practice at times. Say for instance, I mean, so my personal experience was that I have a family member who died from cancer, and of course this person suffered a lot towards the end, and of course at first we have different type of explanation what was the reason for illness, a prolonged illness and suffering. And then my non-sister actually raised it and say, hey, if you look at Mu Jianling's Mangala, one of the, is it?
Moggallana, Venerable Moggallana.
They look at him, he's actually supposedly an Arahant, but the way he dies because he was, my understanding was actually stoned to death, right?
He got beaten to death, yeah.
Exactly. So my narcissist say you should not easily judge a person because of the conclusion, because we have no idea and we do not have to try to see what actually happened in the past life. If we judge it wrongly and the perspective we have may actually cause a bad karma to our own too. So that's something I like to share.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's a very good point there, and sorry to hear about your loss, right, a family member, right? So yeah, so sometimes in most religions, they have different or rather similar concepts, but they use different terms or labels to create this equanimous effect. Some people might say heaven's will, God's will, destiny or fate, or no, for Buddhism, we use karma, right? So basically, the whole idea is to create an emotionally stable mind. When a disaster happens, then we use this as a contemplation, and then it creates this calming effect. And we just try to accept this reality. Makes us comes in terms with this reality. So sometimes this understanding can be misused. Sometimes, let's say there's a natural disaster happen, and sometimes when we say, "Oh, it's because of karma," may sound insensitive. Some people may not be able to take it. So it's more like a personal kind of reflection. Right? Yeah, and of course, earlier on, like what Sinwi has shared, some disaster may befall on another person. We can't judge, how about their practice, about their spirituality, and because again, who are we to judge? Also, right? We don't have the sort of divine eye. We don't have the ability to see all the past lives. And interestingly, this Venerable Moggallana, again, he tried to meditate and calculate the workings on karma, the specific workings on karma. So he was meditating halfway, trying to totally understand equation on how karma works and what not. And the Buddha walked past and stopped him. The Buddha walked past and stopped this Venerable Moggallana and told him, please do not do it. A person who tries to figure out the exact workings of karma will go crazy. He said only a Tathagata can do it. only a Buddha can do it, right? The rest of the enlightened monks, they may not have the ability to sort of work out the fine details and that kind of stuff. The Buddha, to the extent there's some stories, he's able to know, there's a poor lady farmer. He knows that once this lady offers certain alms to him, she'll become a queen. And right now, he just purposely go in front of the lady, make her offer the alms. And next moment, the king came by, wanted to look for a wife, got her, and she became a queen. Right. So there are some things which sort of can be calculated, and nobody else except for the Buddha's mind is able to know the details of karma. All right. So this is just some of my understanding. Okay. Any other questions?
I think Hui Wen has a question.
Yes. Okay. You have a question?
Hui Wen, I saw you raise your hand, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, two questions.
All right.
Because
okay.
I just saw this question in the chat also.
Oh yes, question
So
too.
my
Okay.
first question
Alright.
is just now in your slides you mentioned about giving like material wealth. If we give like our time and effort, like for example like volunteer work,
Yeah.
is it also does it also help?
Yeah. That's also generosity. Yeah, giving. Yeah.
Okay. Then my second question is, I think it's a bit related to Dean's first question. So actually I'm quite curious because like I think some Mahayana traditions they do like repentance.
Yeah.
Then does it help to like dilute the bad karma?
Yeah, there are karmas that sort of obstruct or even destroy other karmas. So we'll cover that in the next lesson. So yeah,
okay.
there are such karmas. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for asking. So now I'm going to
Dean has
Dean's
a
question.
few questions.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I'll read out. Bante, thank you for Karma series. I have a few questions to start with. Hope to hear your advice on this. Thank you. First, is it possible to create good karmas that can nullify bad karmas? I think I've answered that. Yes, it's possible. I'll cover it in the next session. Are there karmas that expire without happening? Also, yes. Yes, possible. Both good and bad karmas can expire. Right? So although karma can be a kind of investment, it's also not a reliable investment. It may not appear. Right? So yeah. Okay, welcome. Any other questions?
I have a question, but it's
Yes, Jack.
a little bit not in line, but I don't know whether it's okay. So first of all, what do you think about the splitting of rebirth consciousness? Because a person is the inheritor of their own karma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone split the consciousness, become two individuals. So first of all, I don't know whether Theravada tradition believe in this or believe it's true. If that is true, what is the flow of karma look like?
Yeah, okay. So this splitting of consciousness and taking birth into multiple beings, I think this concept is more from Tibetan Buddhism. So maybe certain schools of Tibetan Buddhism. You can't find in Theravada Buddhism. I remember there was a film on the Little Buddha starring Keanu Reeves, right? So they were trying to find these three little children who are sort of the possible reincarnation of a previous Lama, right? So this is it's a Tibetan concept. Good film. But again, for Theravada Buddhism, for modern Theravada Buddhism, this concept of rebirth linking consciousness is commentarial. That means it's invented in the commentaries, and when it goes a long time, there's post-canonical works will split this dependent origination into 3 lifetimes. So originally in the suttas, there isn't mentioning of 3 lifetimes in the 12 links, right? The Buddha was just giving an example in this Mahanidana Sutta on how consciousness, first give rise, start to take action. So he just gave an example. If let's say a being is formed in the womb, right, then consciousness will start to take action, will start to function. So the commentators will give credit to this thing called rebirth linking consciousness. So it's a concept being developed, but may not necessarily be the same as the dependent origination, right? Again, like earlier on, you asked a question on the higher knowledges, abhinyas. So rebirth belongs to the first category, which is the circular or mundane kind of higher knowledge. So a person may be able to see past rebirths or past lives, but may not be enlightened. If their mind is still full of greed or hatred, then they look in the past life, they'll be asking, where do I keep my assets or treasures in my past? Or who is my enemies in my past, that kind of stuff. So may not be helpful, yeah? So it depends on, so when we talk about the kind of dependent origination that leads to the end of suffering, is more on reducing greed and hatred. Nothing to do with past lives, actually. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question.
Word is, it is not elaborate in Theravada tradition.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, Bante.
Yeah.
Bante, Eddie has raised his hand.
Oh, yes. Eddie, yeah.
Yeah, Bante. I'd like to ask a question about Arahant and Buddha. So when we attain Arahantship, that means we are enlightened being, right? So is the state of mind of the Arahant and the Buddha the same? So I was understanding also Buddha was actually one level higher and Arahant was actually one level lower. So that means that it's hard to attain Buddha. You only can attain up to Arahantship only, unless you are some Buddha. Only you can attain up to the Buddha. But for normal persons, we can only up to maximum is up to Arahant level. Is that so, or is it correct to say that?
Yeah, based on my understanding from the suttas, the liberation is the same. That in terms of liberation is the same, both Arahant and the Buddha. In fact, when we chant Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato, when we pay homage to the Buddha, there's the quality of an Arahant. That means both Buddha and because Arahant can be both descriptive, can be a verb, and can be a noun. It depends on context how you use it. So Arahant can be a quality. It can also describe. It can also mean a being, a person. So it has several definitions. So in terms of quality, or for your question, in terms of noun, in terms of beings, right, a Buddha or an Arahant, right, there's certain difference, right, in terms of abilities. Earlier on, we talked about the understanding of karma, yeah, the specific workings of karma. So it is said that only a Buddha's mind can truly understand the workings of karma, whereas the other arhants, they can't. But in terms of liberation, there's this, I'm not sure, there's this water snake simile sutta, right? This particular arhant passed away. A certain arhant passed away. Then these, I think these devas and maras try to look for his consciousness, unable to find, unable to find. Right. So again, this one is talking about, the Buddha is mentioning if a person becomes an arahant, he becomes a one thus gone. He equate the term tathagata. The arahant's mind is also one thus gone. So equivalent to like the Buddha's tathagata mind. So it can be a quality as well. So the tathagata, again, this term can mean both quality and also being. depends on context. Yeah.
So is that means that can be Arahant may become Buddha, or Arahant is the most up level already?
Yeah, so again, this is technicalities. Modern Theravada Buddhism will give new terms. They call the Arahant Sawaka Buddha, hearer Buddhas, right? Also a Buddha. So the Chinese, there's a saying, 放下屠刀立地成佛. You drop your butcher's knife, immediately become an a Buddha. Yeah, if you drop a butcher's knife. So you can become a Buddha immediately. Wow. So this Buddha is talking about this Sawaka Buddha, this Arahant. Yeah. So if you want to talk about Samma Sambuddha, a supreme Buddha, then it's a different thing altogether. Very special conditions. Many special conditions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bante.
Okay, no problem. Yep. Any other questions?
Bante.
Yes, Willie.
Okay.
Bante, there's a question from Facebook.
Yep.
When we give dana to an organization and we realize that the dana falls into the hand of not genuine, poor, and needy, is this considered dana, or does it create greed to these people?
Yeah, so again, a lot of times when we talk about dana, has got to do with intention. So before you discover, these the things you donate goes to the wrong hands, your intention is probably good, right? So when you give, yeah, that's you already done your part. You've created the good karma. Then the organization that misuse your donation, they are creating the bad karma. So in terms of this kind of spiritual justice, it's very fair. Right? But if let's say you already know beforehand, or after you give, then you know there's these maybe some form of corruption, or these donations are misused, then you have the choice not to give to this bad organization anymore. Right? So it's called practicing generosity with wisdom. Right? So you give to the right cause. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. But if let's say you already know this organization is doing misusing the donations, and you still give, then you're just perpetuating this. It's called giving with delusion, giving for the sake of giving. So you're not developing much merit. Yep.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay, no problem. Yes, Terence.
Bante, last one. Like this one, the Mahayana, they promote the Bodhisattva path,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
their aiming is Pacceka Buddha or Sammasa Buddha?
Yeah, so for most of the Mahayana schools, if I'm not wrong, they're aiming for Samma Sambuddha. Samma Sambuddha. So I always like to tell this joke. Mahayana practitioners are Kyasu Buddhists. They want to perfect everything. Yeah, they want the highest form of enlightenment. They have to perfect all the paramitas, all the perfections, all the qualities. And Theravada Buddhists are Kyasi Buddhists. Right? We don't want to die so many times. Right. So again, different approach. But if you're still improving, you're reducing greed and hatred, why not? By all means. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
There's another question from Facebook, Bante.
Yeah.
How about giving dana with the intention of gaining benefit? Is that a good karma?
Yeah. If a person wants to do good for the sake of getting good reward, then not much merit. Very little. I won't say totally no merit. Depends on the intention, which I cannot measure. It's depend on you. So if your state of mind is has more spiritual joy, then that is the merit.
All right. Thank you, Bante.
Okay. All right.
So
other
basically
questions?
it's
Yeah.
to reduce your greed, right, Mate?
Yeah, reduce
The main
greed, hatred.
purpose.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, nothing else. Well, today a lot of questions because a lot of people want wisdom, right? Yeah, so
Kamma always like that one. All
Yeah. Kamma always have a lot of questions, you know.
Yes,
A lot
yes.
of curious, a lot of doubts, you know.
Everybody trying to analyze and understand.
Yeah, because it's a very metaphysical kind of subject. It's good to clarify, but of course, this is a meditation session, so I tried to give the meditation perspective, and hopefully, in the coming second part, where when we do this guided meditation, we can apply. All right, so without further ado, we have a short break now. It's 9:23, 5 minutes, so 9:28. We can come back. You can go for a toilet or stretching break, and see you later. Okay, so yep, everyone's back, I suppose. Now it's 9:28. Okay, so we are going to start off with the meditation. So please find a comfortable sitting position. Make sure your back is upright. Relax your muscles, relax your body. And we're going to close our eyes. So today's theme is on karma. Yeah, so we are going to implement in the routine. The first phase of meditation, we are doing the same thing. We are going to do this scanning of the body from head to toe. And this time around, we are going to feel the various sensations and reflect on karma. Right, so as we feel the sensations starting from the crown of our head down, right, whatever sensation that appear, we reflect all these are because of past karmas ripening. All the karmas are ripening. Whatever sensation, if it is an unpleasant sensation, can be a tension, strain, aches, anything unpleasant, that is because of bad karmas ripening. Bad karmas ripening. So we just acknowledge, okay, these are karmas ripening. And if there are pleasant sensations arise, can be joyful sensations, nice sensations, light, feel very light or pleasant, comfortable, then acknowledge these are good karmas ripening. Right, so whatever sensation that appear from your head, your face, and you start to feel your eyes, and we acknowledge all the sensations in terms of karma. So the whole idea is not to react or try to change. So whenever we react, I feel unpleasant, I want to make it disappear. So that is reaction. You're creating new karmas. Right? So if you want to get rid of unpleasant sensations, you are actually creating anger, reacting with anger, creating the karma of anger. And whatever pleasant sensation, when we want to hold on to them, that is, we react with greed. So creating karmas of greed. So we're trying to avoid both of them. So whatever sensation that appear, we just acknowledge these are all karmas. They come and go. All of them are just passerby. Once you're done with your head and your face, then we move down to the sensations of your neck and shoulders. Whatever sensation that arises, We just take note it's because of karma ripening. Once we are done with the shoulders, then we move on to the arms, your hands, left and right arms, all the way to the fingers. Whatever sensation that arises is because of the karmas. And once we are done with the arms, then we can move on to the torso, the chest, and the abdomen region. Whatever sensation that arises is because of karma ripening, good or bad. You just let it come and go. So being able to be passive and not reacting, right? To be a passive observer requires, this equanimity. And if you're done with the front part of your body, then we can think also the back part of your body, your spinal cord, your shoulder blades, all the way down to the tailbone. Whatever sensation that arises is due to the karmas, good and bad. We let it come and go and ripen on its own. And we can think of the hip region, the contact of your seat, all the way down to the rest of your feet. Whatever sensation that arises is because of past karmas, the ripening, be it good or bad. You just let it come and go without reacting. And if you're done with your feet, then we can do a double check, a rescan from head to toe. Make sure you're totally at peace with your entire body. So when your mind is at peace means you have equanimity, right? If it's still struggling and reacting with the various sensations, that means the mind is still restless. That means you still need to continue to contemplate on equanimity until you sort of be at peace with the body. No more mental struggle. So this is the first part of the training. The first phase is to be at peace with the physical body. And now we are going to isolate this attention to one point, the second phase of meditation, right? We are just going to feel below the nostril, above the upper lip, one small area. Yeah, we're going to restrict the attention to the contact of the breath, in and out breathing. No need to go and fill your lungs and windpipe and your diaphragm. Just one small area below the nostril, above the upper lip. So the same concept, when we inhale and exhale, there are various kinds of sensations, and we are just going to use the reflection on karma. So if we force the mind there, we are actually creating karma. Yeah, just gentle attention. If the mind wants to diverge, we just just place a gentle attention to the small area, and whatever sensation that arises, we just take note on the reflection on karma. So some of the karmas can be immediate, right? If you talk about suffering and restlessness and tension, then it's because we react with desire when we push, or when we coerce the mind, we force the mind, right? Then you have the immediate kind of result. So earlier on, when we talk about hatred, right, on karma, on killing or harming, right? If we inflict self-harm with anger, anger sort of reduces the immune system. So some people get sick very easily, even though they are physically healthy. It's because of sometimes the immune system. So at this given small area, can the mind be at peace? If we can't even be at peace with the breath, then we can forget about maintaining a calm mind when we handle bigger projects. And once we are at peace with the breath, we can try a different mental activity, different cognitive function, which is radiating this loving kindness, stretching the mind to the front, or the stretching equanimity, right? So all beings in front goes through up and down, and they are subject to their karma. And then we come back to ourselves. And next we are going to think of all beings behind. All beings behind goes through the ups and downs of life and are subject to their karmas. And we return to ourselves, and we are going to wish all beings on the left, or rather all beings on the left, go through the ups and downs of life and are subject to their karmas. And we return to ourselves, and we think of all beings on the right are subject to the ups and downs of life and are subject to their karmas. And we return to ourselves, and we are going to wish all beings above, or think of all beings above are subject to these ups and downs of life and are subject to their karmas. And we return to ourselves, and we think of all beings below. They are subject to ups and downs of life and are subject to their karmas. And we return to ourselves. This time again, we feel the entire body in this contemplation of equanimity. And when you feel this body, make sure the mind is still in a passive state, not reacting to all the sensations. And do not forget on the contemplation on karma. From head to toe, the entire body is subject to karma. And once we are at peace with the body again, then we can radiate to all the directions, above, below, and all across, and extend this contemplation to this your house, widen the area. All beings at home are subject to ups and downs of life and are subject to their own karma. And then we extend this contemplation to the surrounding neighborhood. All beings in the neighborhood go through ups and downs of life and are subject to their karmas. And we can extend this contemplation to the entire country, whichever country you are in. All beings in your country are face these ups and downs of life and are subject to their karmas. And we are extending this contemplation to the entire planet. Whole Earth, all beings on Earth go through ups and downs of life and are subject to their karma. And eventually we are extending this contemplation to the entire universe. All beings are owners of their karmas, heir to their karmas, are subject to their karmas. by observing the various sensations and contemplating on karma, we are also actually observing impermanence. Whenever we hold on to a sensation or cling, then it will look as though they are permanent. But if we do not react to them and remain passive, right, then we are actually, indirectly observing impermanence. So using this karma as a contemplation or equanimity, we're actually doing two in one. So towards the end, if you do it long enough, the mind won't seem to be extending or stretching. Then it will appear that the mind is doing the unrestricted mode. It means the mind is relaxed. You're not directing the mind anywhere. So whatever happens to the mind, whatever sense contact you have, you just take note of karma. Why does the mind want to run to this object? Why does the attention want to pay attention, run to this object? Right? Because of karmic inclination, mental formation. So you just observe and let the karmas ripen by itself. Do not deliberately direct anywhere. And with that in mind, we can maintain this mindfulness on karma and gently open our eyes. So formally, we end the meditation, but mentally, this can be done in all activities, standing, sitting, walking, lying down, and just need to contemplate on karma. Some of the participants want to create more karmas, so they meditate longer. Okay, so for those who are out of the meditation, any questions or issues? No, all peaceful. Okay, then we maintain this peace and whatever experience, you sense your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, that sense contact also karma, yeah? Karma is ripening. Right, so you just be mindful of that. And if there's no questions, we move on.
Monday, I want to ask question.
Ah, yes, okay.
When we do the front back one, we don't need to send metta anymore.
We are sending equanimity. So we are including them in the contemplation.
No need to include the leave out the loving kindness.
Yeah, for this particular session, yeah. But if you want to do metta, yes, by all means, yes.
Okay, and how do I put it? This karma ripening, right? When we scan the head down, because I've been having migraine the whole day. So when I say it's karma ripening, then automatic I also ask for forgiveness for whatever past deed I've done to cause this headache. And then the headache went off. So can it be true or not?
Yeah. So some of the pains or sufferings is because of, like what you mentioned, probably karma is done in the past, and is our own emotional kind of blockage. So it's good to ask forgiveness, and some of it might ripen, some of it might be cleared. Yeah.
So you really can do that.
For some illnesses or some pains, doesn't work for all. Yeah. There are different kinds of karmas. Some is here and now karma. That means if a person maybe have the wrong diet or wrong position, then they do have headache. No. So this is the immediate one. Some of it might be if you're everything healthy, then you still have this issue. It might be karmic issues.
So karmic issues, because I think Mahayana, I went to one course, then they say we must ask for forgiveness from our previous life.
Yeah.
So automatic I did that, and then the headache sort of cleared, become very lightheaded. So I don't know whether some karmic forces at work.
Yeah.
Is this superstition or?
Oh no. Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Asking forgiveness, and if it's sincere, then it's a clearing the bad karma.
Thank you, Sadhu.
Okay.
I think there's something in the chat, right?
Yes. Eddie raised the hand first, so we let Eddie ask the question.
Then, Bante, during the meditations of mindfulness of vipassana, so if there is a pain on the body or leg numbs, we'll keep noting the pain on the numb. But during the metta meditations, we are still really loving kindness, but we can't note the pain, right? So if there are pain in the body, so are we switch back to vipassana and come back to metta again? How
For metta can be done in conjunction with vipassana as well. Yeah, it can be done. But if, let's say the mind is not so strong, it covers up the pain. That means you're so into metta, sucked into the nice sensation of metta. Then might be good in a way that it builds up certain concentration. Then over time, definitely will be pain. Cannot have no pain one. Unless you're a robot, you can sit for hours and hours.
So when it's a pain, so we note the pain, until when the pain go away, we come back to metta again. Is it right?
If let's say your main object is metta, you can stick to metta. Of course, you can switch if you want. There's no right or wrong to it.
So the pain, just like ignore the pain, but continue doing the metta, living kindness.
Yeah, you can do metta and note the pain as well. Yeah, you can do metta and note the impermanence of the pain as well.
Okay.
Whatever sensation arises, you just wish you well and happy. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
The whole idea is not to use metta to try to change the sensation. Yeah. The metta is to just wish it well, and it's just a goodwill. Just treat it as a guest. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Then the question from the chat. Monday for next few sessions, will you be teaching on the levels of creating good karmas? Yeah, we're going forth to full-time training for liberation be the highest kind. Yeah, I do mention the various kind of good karmas, from the light one to the heavy ones. If one come to realize the extent of one's bad karma and wants to spend the rest of one's life to correct the wrong, would Bhante recommend going forth as the way to go? The person does a lot of bad deeds and want to ordain. I would say the intention has to come from the mind. Yeah, that would be the heaviest factor. If the intention is sincere, you want to renounce and not simply just escape certain misdeeds, then yeah, by all means, we accept ordination. Yeah, then so if you want to ask for ordination, you can look for me personally for interview, right? Maybe not so conducive publicly. Yeah. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. Okay. Thanks for the question. All right. Any other questions from the ground? No more issues, no comments. Okay, then we can conclude the session. Okay, so we have this dedication chant. Right, so we dedicate Anumodana. Akasata ca bhumata devanaga mahidika punyang tang anumoditva cirang rakantu loka sasanang etawata ca amhehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabbe buddha sabbe sata anumodantu Sabba Sabbati Siddhya. Transference of merits to departed. Idang vidyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang vidyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang vidyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Aspiration. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavanibana patiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right. Good night.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu.
Sadhu.
See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Next week is part 2 of karma.
Good night. Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Thank you.